I want to talk about a phenomenon we've kind of touched on here before, but we've seen this over the years that we've been doing infiltration of the abortion industry, talking to people that work in the abortion industry. There has always been, and it seems to be getting even stronger in that area, in that arena, a conflict between what I call the doers and the talkers in the abortion industry. And by that I mean the doers are the people who work in the abortion clinics. They do the abortions, they see the women, they're the ones who actually work there. The talkers are the ones we normally see on television who represent Planned Parenthood or the National Abortion Federation or the ACLU, and they're kind of removed from it. To them, it's all philosophical and theoretical, and they're on television talking about it. There has always been a conflict between these two groups in the abortion industry, and sometimes this conflict gets really nasty. I think sometimes we have this tendency to believe in the pro-life movement, but that we're the only ones who have these internal conflicts. The difference between the pro-life movement and the pro-abortion movement is they keep theirs hidden. They do a better job of keeping it out of the public, whereas we wash our dirty laundry right out there in the public. Sure. But I can tell you this from having dealt with these people over the years. The doers, the people who work in the abortion clinics, they sometimes absolutely hate the so-called talkers. They see them as the kind of prima donnas of the abortion industry. I've had a couple of them say, I get so sick and tired of hearing these people from Washington, D.C. or from the state capitol going on television talking about what a noble thing choice is and how to them it's just a philosophical argument. And they say these women, they say they don't have to deal with the women. They don't hear the woman saying, oh, my God, I just killed my baby. Or the woman who says, I don't really want to do this, but so-and-so says I have to. Or she said, they don't deal with those women. We have to deal with them. And I've had them say to me, I think that we ought to pass a federal law, and I would go along with this, a federal law that says anybody who's going to go on television and talk about abortion has to have seen one or participated in one before they can go on television and talk about it. I got no problem with that. You know what? An analogy here of the way the doers look at the talkers is kind of like the analogy between the way a soldier on the front lines in a war, his experience versus a congressman back in Washington, D.C. sitting over a $200 lunch talking about what a noble thing this war is. Mm-hmm.
Or to be against the war like we see today.
Well, whatever.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
A case right on point is yesterday at the Supreme Court, you had Kim Gandy with her old round sign, right. Keep abortion legal, spouting her mouth off about what a terrible decision the Supreme Court had made. But I didn't see any press releases from abortionists. Right. I didn't see anybody.
It's the talkers.
That's the classic example between doers versus talkers.
Now, the talkers, on the other hand, they often have this tendency to see the doers as kind of the ghouls of the pro-life, of the pro-choice movement, the kind of necessary evil. Yeah, we got to have them because somebody's got to do the abortion. And I've had these people that are basically talkers tell me, yeah, we have to clean up the messes that they create. We have to cash the checks that they write. Right. They go out here and they do partial birth abortions and they do these horrible things, and then we have to go on television and defend it when it's almost indefensible. So there is this conflict that's been going on between these two groups, and it's existed for years. And one of the things I think that's interesting to note here is that if you look at the people in this movement who have converted, as we know, the people like Carol Everett and Dr. Nathanson and Levatino, and you go down the list of all the people that converted, you know one thing they all have in common? Think about it.
They were doers.
They were doers. Mm-hmm. Talkers don't convert because to them it's just philosophical. Mm-hmm. But if you're Levatino or you're Carol Everett or you're Dr. Nathanson, you saw the dead bodies. Mm-hmm. It's not philosophical to you, it's real world.
That's reality.
And can y'all remember any talker that we ever converted? And I'll just give you a good example. Norma McCorvey.
She didn't even allow her talk. They didn't even let her talk.
But basically, she didn't convert until she actually went to work in an abortion clinic. Right. Think about it. Right. She converted while she was working at an abortion clinic, not back when they just had her on television talking about abortion.
You know, a lot of ex-spokespeople for abortion facilities don't convert. They just slink away into silence.
Go off into, yeah, right. But I have never known of just a pure talker who converted. It's always the doers, because they understand. When you tell them that abortion is murder, they don't argue about it. Right. Their argument is that, yeah, it may be murder, but it's justified. Or this woman's going to do it whether we do it to her or not, right? And this whole thing kind of goes to something that we've discovered in all these years that we've been doing undercover work, and I know that you guys have seen it on the sidewalks when you're in front of the clinics. It surprises a lot of pro-lifers to learn that a fairly high percentage of the people in this country who work at abortion clinics are not radically pro-abortion. It's just a job to them.
Right. They just need a job.
They need a job.
It's the highest paying job they can get at this point.
Right.
And they suck it up, and they go to work, and they hate it. They hate every single minute of it.
We've had them right here in this office, right here at Life Dynamics. We interviewed, back when Zentro was still here, we interviewed 4 young ladies from a Dallas abortion clinic. They all worked at the same abortion clinic, and there was a lot of weird things going on there. But anyway, I'll never forget, and I have a tape of these 4 women talking to us. All 4 of them agreed that they could not understand how a woman could come in and have an abortion. Now, these are people that work there.
Wow.
But all 4 of them told me and said to Zentra, I can't understand how a woman can do this. It just boggles my mind that a woman can come in here and do this.
But then I'm going, but they're working there helping do it.
And all 4 of them said, if I could get another job, I would get another job. Right. 2 of the women who went to work there didn't know they were going to work in an abortion clinic when they got hired. They were hired off-site at a hotel and told they were going to go to work in a women's center. They show up to work and find out that it's an abortion clinic, and now they're already working. They've quit their other job, and they just tough it out.
You know, I can't tell you how many women we've actually convinced to come out of the abortion facility as either nurses or just co-workers or receptionists to come out once we find them another job.
Right.
If you can find an abortion clinic worker another job 9 times out of 10 or higher, they'll take that.
Right.
In Buffalo, New York, it was the security guards.
Oh, yeah.
They were shifting. I remember one time I met a security guard, and he says, Reverend Hunter, Reverend Hunter. I goes, yes. He says, don't remember me, do you, Pastor? And I said, no, I don't. And he was at a church. And he says, perhaps I need to just yell at you. Right. And I said, Tom. He was a security guard. And here he was going to Reverend Paul Shank's church, you know.
Wow.
And but he was security guard at the abortion clinic?
He was security guard at the abortion clinic and actually left it. He left the job.